It's Thursday, guys, which means we are back with the Onefootball Power Rankings, and this is the penultimate one of the season. But fear not, there are still loads of players in some fantastic form. There's some winners, some losers, and of course, we will reveal who's taking number one spot this week. Without further ado then, let's get straight into it. First up, and a quick look back on last week's table, as Bernardo Silva was sitting in number 10 with Alexander Lacazette in 7. Hakim Ziyech, Joshua Kimmich and Eden Hazard made up 5-3, with Trent Alexander-Arnold sitting behind Bruno Fernandes. But will the Portuguese star be able to stay on top? We'll find that out in a few minutes. However, before we get to a list of the top 10, we've got our winners and losers of the week. First up, and the loser of the week is the whole Manchester United squad. What a poor performance. You're playing at home to Cardiff on the last day of the season, an already relegated Cardiff, I will add, and you go and lose 2-0. There is literally not a worse way to end the season, and I'm sure it'll leave a bitter taste in the mouth of Manchester United fans for pretty much the whole summer, unless Ole Gunnar Solskjaer pulls a rabbit out the hat and brings in some fantastic signings. As for the winner, it's Robin van Persie, who has finally said goodbye to an unbelievable career. Over 100 games for the Netherlands national team, over 250 career goals. He's just been brilliant, one of the strikers of his generation. He waved goodbye to his hometown club final at the weekend, and a pretty good send-off it was indeed. He'll also be remembered as, at the moment, the highest scoring Dutch player in Premier League history, with all his goals for Arsenal and Manchester United. But with that all being said, let's get into the power rankings, and the first few are pretty much split between Manchester City and Liverpool because of the fantastic weeks that they have had. First off, in at number 10, as we always start, is Sergio Aguero. Now, he hasn't been on the ridiculous goal-scoring form that we've seen of him recently. However, his goal against Brighton was absolutely crucial. After City went 1-0 down and their title was in threat, Aguero managed to bag an equaliser just a few minutes later, and it's from there that him and his Manchester City side went on to win the game and subsequently win the title. That means it's 2 goals in the last 2 games for him, and I'm sure he'll be delighted at lifting yet another Premier League title. Ninth now, and we move over to Liverpool, and it's Sadio Mane, who actually finished the season as joint top goal scorer in the Premier League with 22 goals. His form recently has just been absolutely incredible, especially on the last day when he managed to put 2 past Wolves. That wasn't enough, obviously, for Liverpool to win the title. However, it's just been a brilliant season from Mane altogether. He's filled in excellently well with the likes of Firmino and Salah either have been injured or have not been on form, and well, he's become one of the most important players in Liverpool's team. Number 8 now, and back to Manchester City, and it's Aymeric Laporte. He scored the second goal in their game against Brighton, and adding to this, he's now kept 4 clean sheets in the last 5 games. If it wasn't for Glenn Murray's header, well, he'd have a perfect record in the last 5. Anyway, it's been a brilliant performance from him during the whole season, and I think alongside Virgil van Dijk, he's the best centre-back in the Premier League. He's been incredible from the Frenchman, and Manchester City can definitely look to him as their prime centre-back for the next few years at least. And it's Laporte's teammate who takes the 7th spot, and it's the incredibly consistent, hard-working, fantastic Bernardo Silva. He's pretty much taken over the mantle from his namesake David Silva as he winds down his career, and he's been just as important to the Manchester City side as any other player this season. In the last 5 games, his standout performances have definitely been in the brilliant wins against Spurs and Manchester United, and overall, it's just been a brilliant season for him. Into number 6, and it's the, unfortunately for Chelsea fans, soon-to-be Real Madrid player Eden Hazard. Certainly, if the reports are to be believed. He's been in brilliant form recently, though, firing Chelsea into the final of the Europa League. Literally, as he bagged the winning penalty against Frankfurt in the semi-final. As for Chelsea fans, well, if you do lose Eden Hazard, you can always have the fantastic memories of what an unbelievable player he's been. Certainly one of the best players in the Premier League in the last decade. This season has seen him grab 16 goals and 15 assists, which is just astonishing form. They'll be hoping they can get one more good performance out of him as they take on Arsenal in Baku. Okay, into the top 5 now, and we start off with a double dose of Ajax as they've just won the double. Hakim Ziyech sits in number 5th because his attacking play is just unbelievable. He's a constant threat with his dribbling, his through balls and his finishing, and you can't turn your back on him for a second. If you do, well, you're going to be punished. Plenty of clubs have found that out recently, and with 3 assists in his last 3 games, including helping Ajax to win the cup and the title, he has just been on fire. Of all the players that Ajax could potentially lose this summer, he'll be one of the biggest misses. But someone they may not lose this summer is Dusan Tadic, who sits in at number 4. Now, oddly enough, when everyone speaks about Ajax, they always talk about how good their young players are. So Tadic often gets a little bit overlooked because he's 30 years old. That's not necessarily that old at all, and he has shown it this year. Now, although the season has been one good purple patch for Dusan Tadic, in the last few games he's really come into life when it mattered at the business end of the season. His last 4 games have produced 4 goals and 3 assists, as much like with Hakim Ziyech, Ajax have lifted the double. Into the top 3 now, and back to Liverpool for one more time. And in Trent Alexander-Arnold, I think Liverpool have one of the best right backs in the world, and he could go on to become even better. Going forward, he is just unbelievable and so crucial to the way that Liverpool play. In his last 5 games, he has 6 assists, but even better than that, he has 9 in his last 9. The flying fullback is mirrored on the other side by Andy Robertson. However, I think Alexander-Arnold is just that little bit better. With a second Champions League final on the horizon, the only way is up for the young Englishman. So finally, we come to the final 2. For those of you who are new around here, what we do is set out a stall for both of them, and then finally, I will reveal to you the winner of this week's Power Rankings. First off, and the contender is Bruno Fernandes. He's got 5 goals, 3 assists and 3 man of the match performances in his last 5 games. Now, I know you're going to be saying that the Portuguese league maybe isn't the strongest league in Europe, but that's probably why he has proven himself to be far too good and will be surely on his way out in the summer. There seems to be an exodus of Portuguese players who will be leaving in the summer, and Bruno Fernandes will surely lead the way. Both Manchester clubs are interested in signing him, and why not? His form's been incredible, and at 60 million, he's maybe a little bit of a steal. And speaking of that, be sure to look out for our latest video on Saturday, in which we'll be going through the top 10 players that could potentially be leaving the Portuguese league this summer. I'll give you a hint, one of them is Bruno Fernandes. So the other contender for number 1 spot is Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Now, he often gets slated for missing one too many chances. However, he's had a fantastic season nonetheless, with 22 goals in the Premier League. This means that with other Power Rankings contender Sadio Mane, he has split the Golden Boot. This is also alongside Mohamed Salah. So as for Aubameyang, alongside his hat-trick against Valencia and his 2 goals against Burnley at the weekend, he now has 7 goals and assists in his last 4 matches. Much like with Eden Hazard, for Chelsea fans, Arsenal fans will be hoping that one more top performance from Aubameyang will be coming this season as they face Chelsea in the Europa League final. It will certainly be a battle of 2 of the Premier League's brightest stars this season. So before I reveal the winner of this week's Power Rankings, just a quick reminder for you guys to share your thoughts in the comment section down below. Who would you have been in your top 10? Who would you have in your top 3? And who definitely shouldn't have been in there? You can kick anyone out that you like. So without any further ado, the winner of this week's Power Rankings is Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Some fine form from the Arsenal striker, and he deservedly takes home top prize. So that's it for this week. Make sure you join me next week for the last Power Rankings of the season. Until then, I'll see you guys later.